Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. So, first thing I'm going to do is get my pendulum to clarify something that was confusing from my last reading with regards to whether or not the sort of Trumpers are actually, I guess, radicalized enough or violent enough to actually be concerned about. So we're going to start with a few questions about that. And I think that I'm going to take a look at some of the voting rights, because there's a lot of laws getting kind of passed in really crazy ways. And frankly, a lot, even though there are a lot of objections to what's going on, and this is in Republican states, frankly, by citizens of the state. Not everybody in a red state is red, right? Okay, so it is July 13th. So here we go. Let's start with some pendulum yes/no questions. For any of you who are new to Soulprint, first of all, welcome to the Soulprint family. And the pendulum and I have a very, very close relationship. It is incredibly responsive. So when it's going back and forth like this, as you see, it is just saying that it's clear, I'm protected, and it's ready to communicate. Can you please show me yes, pendulum? And you'll see yes is this sort of back and forth. Okay, and pendulum, show me no. And round and round, clockwise, is no. If I ask a question and the pendulum just goes like sort of almost like stationary and vibrating, it means either the answer isn't available, it's not the right time to ask the question or get an answer. Answer's unknown at this time. All right, so let's get started here. Let's start with some basics about kind of the whole January 6th insurgents and where we're going with that and what that looks like. So my first question is, are there going to continue to be almost weekly arrests? If I understand correctly, there's almost like 3 arrests a week still coming from that insurgence. Is that something that we're going to continue to see in the weeks ahead and the months ahead? Yeah. So you know what? They haven't stopped investigating. They haven't anything. This continues to move forward, and there will continue to be, arrests made and that kind of thing. So, they're on it, right? Are there quiet investigations going on behind the scenes pertaining to some of the House Republicans and Senate Republicans and the role that they played on, leading up to January 6th and on January 6th? Yes. Are any of those people likely to face significant either legal or political ramifications? Yes. Okay. I'm not going to go name by name because, in fact, at the moment I actually can't. I can see faces, but I can't attach names. So one of these days I'll get a list and we'll look at it that way. As it stands now, is the Republican Party losing ground? Who's scratching what? Little girl, stop it. Sorry. Twyla just decided that my chairs were her new scratching posts. Not going to work for me, little one. Where was I? As it stands now, are the Republicans losing ground when it comes to sort of the 2022 midterm elections? Are they losing ground? Okay, so that's a yes. Okay. I'm going to ask the exact opposite question. Are the Republicans overall gaining ground when it comes to the 2020 2022 midterm elections? No. Okay. So is there sort of any low-grade panic going on within the Republican Party in terms of that election? Yes. Okay. And so because of that low-grade panic, are they going to continue trying to push these draconian voting rights? Yes. And are they going to continue to gerrymander anything that they can possibly gerrymander to their advantage? Yes. Okay. Are these actions likely to end up moving through the court system? Yes. And may they even ultimately end up at the U.S. Supreme Court? Okay. And ultimately, is the Supreme Court likely to side with the restricted voting rights legislations that are going on now? Is that something that is actually going to fly once it gets it to the Supreme Court? Okay, no. I understand it's going to take a while to get to the Supreme Court, so I don't know what that looks like in terms of in time for the 2022 elections. So are to some degree the courts going to step in to try to block some of the restrictions? Yes. Now, I know that it seems a little bit like the courts are really, we're now starting to feel the impact of all those Republicans getting put on the court or on the bench at the Supreme Court. So, next question. I'm going to ask this again, between now and the next session of this court starting, which I think maybe is in September or October, are all of the same judges that are on the bench now going to be on the bench? Okay, so no. Is there going to be a change in one judge? Okay, so yes. And is there going to be a change in two judges? Okay. That was a yes. All right, let's get back to the sort of the really crazed Republicans out there who are. Hang on a second, please. Sorry. Um, so with regards to kind of the really crazed Republicans, the ones who are being radicalized, the ones who actually think that there's going to be a change in the presidency this August. And apparently the pillow guy has now dated it. I think it was August 13th or 14th. Fortunately, I think he was, some of that was based on the fact that he had a court hearing or there was going to be some sort of a court date around that time where he truly believed the election would ultimately get overturned. Well, apparently the judge threw that out. So there is no court in the middle of August as far as the pillow guy is concerned. What it was he countersued Dominion because, they're suing him for that $1 billion because, he kept telling like false stories. Apparently he countersued them and the judge just like threw that right in the garbage. So that's not going to work. Okay, so back to my question. So we spoke before about the fact that those people who were just hardcore, staunch Trump supporters, that, it's smaller and smaller groups, but the smaller groups are becoming more and more radicalized and frankly more and more dangerous. So first question, can we anticipate significant, dangerous rioting in August from that group of people? Okay, now that's no. Let's drill down a little bit. Is there going to be some rebellious behavior that goes on? Yes. Is it going to be significantly smaller than was witnessed in January? Yes. There is no question that some of these people are dangerous in their own right. Are they going to be able to inflict damage that is significant enough to create sort of a civil unrest energy? No. There are some readers out there who have referenced or referred to some sort of bigger event that's going to take place, I think, somewhere towards the fall. I'm not clear on that. That is going to, in many ways, just really, really damage the Republican Party. Is that something that is accurate? Okay, yes. Is that damage to the Republican Party likely to impact the results of the 2022 midterm elections? Yes. I gotta say, it's kind of hard to believe what that might be, considering these people, um, you can't shame them, you can't embarrass them, you can't anything them, because they've lost all moral, compass. But we shall see, I guess. Is Trump Trump or any of the members of the Trump family, are they going to be indicted in August? No. Okay. Are there going to be indictments coming down for them in September? Okay, so what you're seeing here, just in case you're wondering, is the pendulum is reading my mind. Okay, the pendulum knows what my question is as I'm formulating it. And so sometimes when you see this pendulum almost answering before a question has been fully formed, that's what you're seeing, okay? Sometimes the pendulum, okay, a lot of times, the pendulum is way faster than my brain to my mouth, okay? Is Ivanka in legal jeopardy? Yes. Jared Kushner, legal jeopardy? Yes. Are the boys, Eric and Don Jr., going to have some real legal problems coming their way in September, October time? And yes. Are there going to be other key players in the Trump organization who come under legal scrutiny or end up having, are in legal jeopardy or having legal problems? Yes. Okay. Is Weisselberg going to flip on Trump at some point? Okay, so that's a yes. Is Weisselberg likely to do that before his case starts moving to trial? No. Yeah, so it looks as if Weisselberg is kind of going to take the, you're bluffing, you don't have as much as you think you have. I'm going to ride this out until it starts getting really, really real. Are the Republicans going to be able to continue to block attempts to end the filibuster? Yes. Are the Democrats sometimes under the Biden administration, are they actually going to be able to break the filibuster? Are the Democrats going to be able to break it? Yes. So that's interesting. So apparently, the Republicans are going to keep doing what they're doing, but ultimately it looks like the Democrats are going to have at least a card or something up their sleeves to make this happen. Are we getting to a point where more and more we're going to see the Democrats continuing to sort of shorten the rope on the Republican when it comes to trying to accommodate them? Are the Democrats, simply speaking, going to get tougher on them? Yes. Is the House committee that is going to be investigating January 6th, is there going to be information that comes out from that is, I kind of want to say startling and shocking in terms of what we know now? Is there going to be stuff that comes out that just really rocks the boat? Yes. So there were donors, corporate donors, big corporate donors, who after January 6th came out and said, we will not contribute to any politician who was part of the sedation. And then they quietly started giving them money. Toyota was the one that had the flashlight shined on them most recently, and they had to backtrack and come out and make a statement that saying, no, they really are going to stop and they're not going to do it. We'll see. But are other corporate donors who are continuing to funnel funds to those people who tried or played a role or a part in trying to bring down the government, are they also going to get sort of a flashlight shone on them? Yes. And is that likely to really have a significant effect? Are they going to be held to account? Yes. And are there going to be politicians, Republican politicians, who feel the impact of that? And is that impact going to be felt in a way that lessens what they are able to do in terms of the next election? Yes. That reminds me, I saw something the other day that about Georgia and oh my goodness, what's his name? Reverend, the newest House member. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to try to figure out what his name is. Don't send me 100 comments telling me what his name is. We all know who I'm talking about. Apparently, they're saying that his seat is actually in sort of a little bit of jeopardy. And so I want to ask about that. Is the good, because now him and the other new guy will be running for 6-year terms, the way I understand it. So, is the Reverend likely to lose his seat in Georgia? Is that likely to happen? Okay, so that's a pretty firm no. is there simply stuff? Is there stuff that's going to come out in the, I want to say 6 months, that is really, really going to negatively hurt and impact the Republican Party? Yes. Is some of that going to have to do with money coming from sources that it should not be coming from? Okay, yes. Is that going to have something to do with blackmail type activities? Yes. And are some of those activities coming from Russia? Yes. So activity, I think what I'm trying to say is information, right? And is that also coming from China? Yes. Um, this one's sort of out of the blue, but it just popped into my head, and I know you guys have asked about it. Is the U.S.-Canada border likely to open in August? Yes. And is that going to be opening basically for people who are fully vaccinated? Yes. So it feels as if it's going to open up a little bit, but there's still going to be some, restrictions in place. Um, I am concerned about some of the red states that are really not getting on board with the whole vaccination thing and the variants that are coming out. So, are there some red states where the COVID variants are going to really start increasing their numbers? Okay, yes. Are people fully vaccinated? Um, are they in significant risk when it comes to the variants? No. Okay, so that's not to say that somebody might not something, but we're not talking about huge numbers, okay? There are a lot of like ridiculous um, things, frankly, that are being stuck into some of these bills that Republican red states are trying to pass under the lump umbrella of, shifting voting rights and trying to toughen those up. So it makes it harder to vote. I mean, they're sticking all kinds of other stuff into these bills that they want to get done too, like, very short terms for abortions. There's all kinds of other stuff that's getting put in there. Ultimately, and not in every red state, but ultimately, will those behaviors, is that something that they're ultimately going to end up being punished for by the people of the state? Yes. Okay. Now, I just have one more thing I want to ask about. So I heard, and golly, I wish I knew where I heard it. It might have been on MSNBC's Chris Hayes show. I'm not sure. But there was a gentleman on there, and he was talking about, no, it was on the show before that one. Sorry, my mind's blanking. But he was talking about the evangelicals, and part of the reason that they are just such, you know, so determined to like get these voting, laws enacted and keep that black vote or anybody other than white sort of from voting. Up to and including people who just are white but not evangelical, who don't believe what they believe. And he made a statement that part of the reason that there's that dynamic is because to evangelicals' minds, part of what they, understand as their, I guess, religion, their belief structure, is that the United States was given to white Christian Europeans sort of as their promised land. And so in when they're looking at things like restrictive voting rights, etc., on a fundamental basic level, is that simply because they really believe that God gave them a country? Well, yes. Okay. And that they have the right to make the vast majority of decisions pertaining to that country. So, a big part of what's going on, a big part of what's being fought against is, there's not only, I guess, kind of the white people who feel marginalized and who are scared because, you know, the color of the country seems to be changing a little bit. But for a subgroup of them, that evangelical group, it feels very much as if somebody is taking away kind of their God given gift. So you can see why things have become so entrenched. And it's going to take, you know, some really, really hard work to kind of shove some of these ideas and people back in their corners because to their mind, like they truly believe they are fighting for their life and for their existence. And is that one of the big sort of hammers that is being used to manipulate them and keep them in line? It surely is. And of course, within that group, you get sort of the extreme militia groups, right? Or if that's the right term. But those people who are willing to wage war against anybody and everybody um, because of their own belief structures. Okay. Um, we'll just do a couple quick ones. Is Joe Biden okay? Is he protected? Is he safe? Yes. Is his health okay? I mean, I know he's exhausted, right? Energetically, he's feeling a little drained and depleted. But overall, is Joe's health going to get him through? Yeah. Okay. He's okay. Is the Democratic strategy of continuing to try to play nice with the Republicans until the Republicans end up just looking like fools? Um, is that sort of going to start diminishing now? Because I think they made their point, right? But that's a yes. But it's time for them to get tough now. It really is. Okay. Um, and just because you got to ask, is Mitch McConnell going to complete his term in the Senate? No. Okay. Are there going to be um, some states that, okay, so I'm going to ask it this way. And I don't know who's coming up for re-election in Arizona in 2022. Okay, I don't have a clue. I don't know how many seats are opening or not opening. But is there going to be a stronger showing, maybe than expected, when it comes to Democrats winning? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to need to actually look up and see what that means. All right, listen up. I hope that was helpful. I know a lot of you guys really, really enjoy the pendulum readings. Let me know if your answers reflect, my answers and your answers are kind of the same thing. It's always really cool to find that out. Also, I just want to make a quick point. Every once in a while, I get, private emails or comments that said, "Oh, you got that right, or you predicted that, or wow, you were right, whatever." And you'll notice that it's not something that I tend to talk about. Very rarely will I say, "And I said that was going to happen, and look, it just did." Um, Part of the reason for that, honestly, is that almost everything that is on these videos, one way or another, is channeled. And so I tend not to remember a lot of what I have said. So for those of you who actually take the time to say, "Hey, you got that one right," I really appreciate that, just so you know, because I don't retain what I say for the most part. Thank you so much for being here. I just am delighted that you are. Thank you for your support, your comments, your thumbs up. I love it all. Thank you. Until next time, take care. Be well. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.